So, um, I don't think on this channel we've dived into the unspoken one. It goes by multiple names, and one of the popular names is Shiva. Right? I've never spoken of Shiva. I think the teachings of Shiva and the practices and it has had a massive impact. Um, Probably the only reason um why everything in my life kind of unfolded in the way how it did unfold. But but it happened in such a way that there's no trace of him in my existence. So this is the first time we're actually making some content about it. Um, I mean, there's lots of content online, but this is something different because this is diving at the core essence of Shiva, what the core essence mean, and how you can have a direct experience of that inner nature, what is being actually referred to as Shiva. The word Shiva, we won't go into it because every time I say it, it has it has a power to it, and there's a certain vibration that's felt. One person that has done fantastic work in this field is a guru online by Sadhguru. He's done a tremendous amount of work and impact in this direction of really making Shiva popular, to say. And I think he has had a role um, in my journey inward, but not a direct role. He's kind of created the introduction to what Shiva really is, but it goes deeper. So we're going to touch the deeper aspects of Shiva that you don't really find online. The stuff that we're going to touch on, you can find the sources out there, but just speaking about it, it has to come from just having a copy of it is not it's not it. It has to come through either someone who has direct experience with the form itself and the energy that comes from the form through an individual. Um, there's a word in the Hindu tradition, in spirituality. It's called Sampradaya. So this is basically the you have the spiritual teacher, and then you have the disciple, and then Shiva is referred to as the the only guru, the only true guru, the first guru, and then from there disciple to disciple to disciple. So it has to come from that lineage. If it doesn't come from that lineage, it doesn't have kind of the potent value that it's supposed to have, because this essence exists in everyone, right? It can manifest in any shape or form, but it's been kept in a certain way, so that when it's actually presented, the person that receives it, in this case you that's watching the video, is able to receive it on on a potent level. So that's what we exploring here today. And the video may be, I'm not sure how long this one's gonna go, but we'll see exactly what that is. And I'd also like to we like to give a little taste of a meditation as well, with the whole entire video towards maybe the ending of it. So you kind of get like a good feel, as you know, as we progress. But then the one thing is, mind may be questioning, why is he taking so long and stuff? And Shiva is not something that we need to get to the end. He's here and now, so it's available now and it's accessible now. From the beginning, the video started, it's already accessible. But the thing is, for you to grasp it, there's no end goal. There's no end. It's the starting and the end is at one point. It's at a still point. So it's in every second of this video. So just stay with it. So we're reading a book that's not really a book. It's direct pointing. So what a direct pointing is? A direct pointing is something that's basically, if you're walking. So Sadhguru, he mentions a guru is a GPS, right? A guru positioning system. So it basically tells you turn here, turn there. If you're going in this direction, it's the right direction, or you're going in that direction, it's the wrong direction. It tells you make a U-turn or something like that. So the book that we're reading is kind of something like that. So it's something that you can experience. The book is called Beyond Shiva-The Absolute Truth by Avahtara. So this book can be found on Amazon. I am not sponsoring or I'm not promoting this book. It's just a powerful, when you're ready for it, it kind of finds you kind of book. And how this found me, my life, how it kind of manifested. And I went for a Zen retreat, and then the Zen master in that retreat, he delivered, I think it was a few lines. It went something like this. So this is the first chapter. We're not reading the whole chapter, but this is the first thing that really got me when I heard this. So the first chapter is called Shiva. It starts off like this. A teacher will teach you. A master will awake you. I will destroy you. It starts off like that. And it goes on. And when I heard that, that destruction, right, when it's heard by the mind, it's heard as a very negative, it has a very negative connotation to it, because the mind's like, why would I want to be destroyed? So what is being destroyed in that sense is the false I, the I that I think I am, the mind-generated I, the identity entity. So that is not true. So that which is false, that Shiva will destroy. That is the destroyer. So we're gonna go to the next part. This is the fourth chapter. It's called Here and Now. And before I could dive into this, it's kind of, the last thing that came out from my mouth was, it's here and it's now. And I can't remember all the words in this book, neither can I remember the chapter names, but those were the last words I said. And when I opened the book and I saw the chapters, there's one chapter that was called Here and Now. So I said, let's start off with that, but I wanted to give the first chapter because what really kind of drew me to the pointing. So the here and now is, I am not here. I am nowhere to be found. I am beyond the so-called here-ness. Tell me, is there a here in deep sleep? The here is a creation of the mind. I am not now. I am nowhere to be found. Tell me, is there a now in deep sleep? The now is a creation of the mind. I am not now, not here. I am not nowhere. I am beyond the mind, I am beyond concepts, I am beyond experiences, I am beyond all of these. So you may look at it and you may hear that and you may think, okay, it's a contradiction. But what is really being pointed here towards is that self structure that experiences everything. The mind that is trying to grasp and trying to understand, and that ultimate nature, which is Shiva, which is you, is beyond that. And that is one of the key essence I kind of put in all the videos that I create. There's another teaching that comes to mind. I like to read this. So this is written by a person by the name of Shankaracharya, and it still ties into the non-dualism teachings. And he composed something very brilliantly called the Nirvana Shatakam. So the where I'm actually accessing this is from the ishasadguru.org website. So if you type in on Google Nirvana Shatakam, you type in Isha Foundation, you'll get the entire shloka, which you can read the English version and you can read the Sanskrit version written in English words. However, they had a better version of this, which I published on the Spotify, which was done I think in 2022 or 2023. I released a series called Master of the Illusion, and in that series, the way how they had it structured back then in terms of the translation was it was much better. But this Nirvana Shatakam mantra, the reason why it's so important to be recited is the fact that it prepares the egoic self. So the self structure, the false I, it kind of prepares it so that when awakening actually does happen, in most cases, the you could say the consciousness or the awareness, it can leave the physical. So it can become, they classify it as Mahasamadhi and things like that. So if it's done right and there's a certain knowing of the mechanics of the self structure, when awakening happens, it can kind of hold that there. But even if one knows all the mechanics, the one that's trying to control it is never in control. It's the consciousness that is creating everything, creating you, creating me, and that's the one that is in charge of everything and directs everything. So it starts off with saying, pointing that you're not the mind, not the intellect, not the ego, the memory, the organs. Then it goes a little bit deeper, speaks about not the vital parts, 5 sheets of consciousness and stuff. Then there is one specific part, and this is kind of important. It says that I'm not virtue, no vice, not pleasure or pain. I need no mantras, no pilgrimage, no scriptures, no rituals. And then this is the most important part. I am not the experience, nor the object of experience, nor am I the one who experiences. So Adi Shankaracharya in that specific shloka, he kind of directly points you towards that I am not the one who experiences anything. And the awakening is kind of out of the experiencing structure. So there's another spiritual teacher, he goes by the name of UG Krishnamurti, not J Krishnamurti. And when he speaks, it's like kind of the opposite of J Krishnamurti's teachings. But when he speaks, he's speaking directly from, there's no experience, I don't exist. And that is from, most people don't see it because they haven't had the awakening experience. And the reason why it may be a shock to somebody who's actually listening and been on the path, or maybe kind of new to spirituality, and they hear this, it can be a shock. So if awakening happens for them, it can hit them like to such a point, it's as good as dying, basically. So the shock can, the body can't take that shock because everything is kind of intact. So when this experience comes into the being itself, when it's realized, the shock can be so great that enlightenment and death is the same thing, basically. So even if one does not realize who they are throughout their life, when the moment of death comes, that is a doorway, and that is true. That is true. And this Nirvana Shatakam, the whole entire thing, it goes in layers. So it goes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. The part that you can, I would say, not give too much importance to, because of the amount of, I would say, imprints that has happened today of the word, what is called as Shiva. There's a last line that repeats in every of the shloka. It's called, Chittananda Rupa Shivohham Shivohham, which basically means, as this says, I am the form of consciousness and bliss, I am Shiva. When they got the brackets there, that which is not. And if you read that multiple times and you see images on the internet of what Shiva is, and you see statues and you read about it and stuff, so that is not Shiva. That is just a concept that your mind is grasping. So you can drop that, because it's at today's level where where spirituality is, you got to be very careful of the identification that can happen. So that person who is reading, you don't want to add more conditioning to what is already there. So next we are looking at, we'll look into maybe a guided meditation. We'll do a short guided meditation just so you can get a feel of a certain practice to do. And why a practice? Because spirituality, it's always been something that you for yourself don't believe in anything, don't accept anything, have a direct experience for yourself, and that is where the liberation is. No person can give you liberation. No person can give you the answer that you seek. You have to find it out for yourself. So we are looking into Shiva's 112 ways. This is one way that we're looking at. I think Isha Foundation hasn't released it to the public of the whole 112 ways. And maybe they have. I haven't really looked into it. But as far as I know, been there for a very long time, following that, I haven't seen something that has been structured. So I'm putting one way from Shiva himself. That's written in the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. So this is on page 26. This is the chapter 2, the meditations. And it's funny how it starts off with the Bhagavad Gita. And the reason why I find it funny is because um, it's all the parts lead to one. Everything is connected, so it's all integrated. It's not like, okay, this is just a book about Shiva and that's it. No, it's not. So it's here as well. And the quote is the quote is, many are the parts of men, but they all in the end come to me. That's in the Bhagavad Gita. It's a quote. And this Vigyan Bhairav Tantra is a conversation between Shiva's consort Parvati and Shiva himself. So Parvati is like one with him, but she's here to kind of give the seeker, or the person that's trying to awaken, that perspective, the doubt and the questioning and stuff. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was in a setting where Shiva and Parvati were sitting together, and then she was asking questions and bringing doubt, and then she was bringing the doubt of the Sapta Rishis that were receiving the wisdom from these teachings, from these sacred teachings. And this one says the supreme energy breath goes upward and with exhalation, and downward with inhalation. By concentrating on the two places of its origin, one acquires the state of fulfillment. So this is the English translation. We're going to do a little meditation now. So it's important that you just go with it, and then see where it actually leads you. And you can practice this every day, because when I read certain things from scriptures, I try to stay away from scriptures and religion as a whole, but we're just using it here as reference points to the inner path. There's one saying in Zen that don't read. This is from the Zen masters. His teacher told him this. Don't read the book out there. Read this book. Read the inner book. And we're just using this as a reference point. One way of Shiva's teaching. So, if you have any spectacles, like how I had spectacles on, you can take it off, and you can just sit and relax, and you can keep your eyes closed. Make sure your back is comfortably supported, not to a point where you would fall off to sleep. And just keep your body kind of loose. You can have your legs crossed if you want to, not necessarily, but in all meditation practices, the legs are crossed, because you want to kind of receive whatever is being imparted to you from the higher chakras in the body. So you can just simply be here and just watch the breath, and then you notice as you inhale, so you take an inhalation, and just pay attention to the breath, and then just exhale, then inhale, and then exhale again, and then inhale again, and exhale, And this time, just pay attention when you're on your next inhalation, the starting point of the inhalation. Just keep the focal point at the starting point of that inhalation. And then as you exhale, notice the starting point of that exhalation. You can do it on the next breath. Notice the inhalation starting point and the end point of the exhalation. Starting point of the inhalation and end point of the exhalation. You start to notice that the starting and origin, the origin, which is the starting point, and the end point, which is the exhalation, is at the same place. It's at the same very spot. So what you want to do is keep your focus on that spot and just simply be here, be present, be aware. So your mind is completely focused on that single point as you notice the inhalation and exhalation that is happening naturally. And you can allow that to be your meditation towards realizing what you are. And you can stop, you can open your eyes if you want to, but that's literally one of the 112 ways of realization. So you can use that as your part of your daily practice, and see where it goes. If you don't have a practice and stuff, it's a fantastic starting point, because the first time when I read this, which was today, it just hit like, whoa, this is something really powerful, a very powerful deep practice, and a very simple practice to do as well. And it's a very direct, very direct practice, and it's brilliant. I have no words to say how brilliant that practice really is, but you have to find out for yourself. Just go with that and see. So depending on how this video does, or maybe not, we'll see if we can explore the whole entire 112 ways. But let's just see the energy, how it kind of manifests in this video, and see where it actually goes and actually finds expression. If that consciousness, which we refer to as Shiva, wants to kind of express the 112 ways through this embodiment, then we'll dive deeper into it.